welcome back to the final game of Starladder America Season 10 group stages. We've got the Sneaky Nicks Assassins versus Navi US, and this will round out the group stage. We already know who the top four will be, but this one will have an impact on seeding and should be a good one nonetheless. Unfortunately, here we do have a couple of stand-ins. Whitebeard will be there for the Sneaky Nicks Assassins, and on the side of Navi US, MJW is here in the place of 1437. So without any further ado, let's hop into it. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Blaze. Blaze, what's up, man? This is the end of the group stage. I know you're sad.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, this has been a nice long road here. A lot of days of amazing Dota from the North American, South American scene, and now we come to a conclusion. We still, of course, get the playoff bracket to look forward to and see the top four of that bracket go on and do their thing, trying to get that one slot for their free ride to the land final. But for now, this is going to be a pretty decisive one here between the two teams. Navi US, Sneaky Nicks Assassins. Whichever one loses will be going up against Evil Geniuses in round one of the double elimination bracket, and the other one will be facing off against Not Today. So, well, obviously both, if they're afraid of EG at the very least, wanting to take this win very seriously, and we'll be seeing a competitive draft from the two sides. So, yeah, looking early on with just kind of the Razor Shadow Shaman combo, we see Shadow Shaman actually very frequently picked up for Sneaky Nicks Assassins draft. So the fact that Navi US were able to pick that up for themselves is going to enable them to get the push momentum, get a nice bit of lockdown. But Tidehunter, he's a hero that you can't really lock down too much, and he is going to be able to still be able to get some massive disables off across the team fight and help set up that Death Prophet damage.
No doubt about that. And I always like Tidehunter. It's a little bit more on that dire side, working the Ancients, and it is a tough off lane, but like you mentioned, Kraken Shell will make his life at least a little bit easier compared to other off laners out there. Both teams taking their time as we move into the third and fifth banning stage, but Sneaky Nicks Assassins will take out the Earthshaker and the Brewmaster. It looks like Navi US could be gearing up for a pretty intense pushing strat with Razor and Shadow Shaman, the beginnings of it, or it could just be a slightly more conventional team fight oriented lineup. Still a Nature's Prophet in the pool if that's a route they wanted to go for a nice pushy offlaner. They've already banned out the Pugna, and we'll see what they do here with their fourth ban. Maybe want to take a couple of supports out of the pool. That is where Sneaky Nicks Assassins are lacking right now.
Yep, so I'm trying to figure out the alias of this guy right here, the MJW, and I think it actually might be Degenerate, who we were seeing playing a core position in the past for previous teams. So that might be the case, might not be. In either case, we'll go with MJW for this cast here, and we'll have to see what is up his sleeve. For now, though, the Pugna ban out, yeah, that's just going to make it so that they can get a little bit more cast-oriented heroes. Master Rewards is actually surprisingly very high mana cost. It's deceptive, but if you get up to the second and third level of that, you can easily start chunking down your HP pool just being in range of the Nether Ward when you try to drop that down. So nice to take that off the table as well as negate some of that combo push. And yeah, the Faceless Void as well, making it so that they can't combo the Chronosphere with a lot of Death Prophet exorcism damage. But this pick here is going to enable them to kind of choose their fights more carefully. The Centaur Warrunner, great with the Razor in general, and if they can get some blinks up, is going to allow them to choose where the battles take place much more frequently than that of SNA. And that's going to be very impactful towards whether they are able to succeed or if they're going to be just chunked down by the momentum swing when Tidehunter hits 6.
5 seconds remaining.
Yes. Centaur here for Navi US going to be their offlaner. So no Nature's Prophet as I was thinking, and this draft coming by very slowly. Both teams taking their time and, well, just thinking ever so carefully about this last deciding matchup. Sorry, Blaze, I was distracted. It's actually raining here in Los Angeles for the first time in what feels like months, though it probably hasn't been that long. We're overdue for a little bit of water, so I was wondering what that sound was and realized, oh, that non-familiar sound is actually raindrops hitting the roof.
Hopefully you don't drown with the an inch of rain that you're probably going to get. But
yeah.
There you go. So jumping into this bit here, Wraith King's going to come out for Sneaky Nicks Assassins. The Doom isn't really on the table. Usually we see it as a hero that can survive against that pretty well, but in this case here, he's just going to be one that can stay throughout the fight for second life. That reincarnation can get a lot of good stun, but I don't know. In this situation, supportive Wraith King's fine. I mean, there's no problem with it, but it's not particularly more potent than the Shadow Shaman. He might cancel Shackles, he might not. But in either case, like in this position here, It's a
10
supportive
seconds
hero
remaining.
because if it was a core, then Razor would just destroy him with the static link and make it so that he
5
can't really
seconds
contribute much to the
remaining.
team fight at all. And you're syncing it up with a hero that doesn't really right-click too much. So the Vampiric Aura
Reserve
doesn't really
10.
spread across the whole team. I mean, obviously it does, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So
Hmm.
the Wraith King is fine in his own right. He's a great overall hero, but I'd love to see it paired with a hero like Mirana or something where they can actually accomplish more in the laning phase.
And they could even do something like a Mirana Vengeful Spirit. That's one of those tri-lanes we've seen quite a bit. And even if they wanted to safe lane the Tidehunter, they could do an aggro try and look to pick up some kills, or
10
do a safe
seconds
lane and pick
remaining.
on that Centaur a little bit, and of course zone him out fair amount.
5
Also, having the
seconds
Vengeful Spirit on the
remaining.
dire side does open up some more possibilities with Roche. The minus armor from the Scream makes that Death Prophet do a little more damage,
Dire
and
team
as always,
pick.
minus armor on the Roche pit is not a bad thing to have. Navi US will think about it, but ultimately pick up the Rubik. Always a good choice against the Tidehunter. Not so bad against DP and Wraith King. Really good for slowing down the pushing power of the nature or of the Death Prophet when she's spamming out that Crypt Swarm. As Rubik can give her a taste of her own medicine. Stealing the Exorcism can certainly come in handy sometimes, but not so easy for that Rubik to survive once he
10
pops the
seconds
Exorcism and
remaining.
kind of puts that target on his back.
Yeah,
5
so I
seconds
do think
remaining.
that this is going to be enabling them to counter push well enough that they don't have to worry about their early towers.
Reserve
On
10.
the Radiant side, that's really comforting because that means that you're going to be able to always go in against that early Roche play and be able to really contest across the map in general. So if they can get some good jungle pulling going on, farm up the Shadow Shaman a little bit more, I would actually say that I prefer Navi US's draft at this stage, but we'll see what SNA have to bring to bear. Obviously, they can go with the Brana like we were talking about,
10
but they also
seconds
might go
remaining.
for something a little bit different. I mean, maybe a level 1 roast strat is
5
in the cards.
seconds
I doubt it,
remaining.
but at least they're going to pull this one out. We saw this one
Navi
in the
US's
most
turn
recent
to
game
pick.
of Starladder with Sneaking Assassin that up against EG. They comboed the Wraith King with the Leshrac, and this is actually the same four heroes they had against EG prior. TC on the Death Prophet, Fluff and stuff on the Leshrac, and yeah,
10 seconds
it's going to
remaining.
work out pretty well, I think.
Yeah, we saw how well it
5
worked
seconds
yesterday, and we were
remaining.
both excited and maybe a little skeptical about the Lesh, but Fluff played a fine one. He went for the Lightning Storm build,
Dire
opted not
team
to get Edict
ban.
until much later in the game, and he just really did a great job positioning himself appropriately so that he didn't get picked off, and that is one of Lesh's weak points right now, those long cast points and not particularly tanky. Positioning is the name of the game, and he
10
certainly did a good job.
seconds
He was
remaining.
even the gem carrier for a while, which much to our
5
surprise
seconds
actually worked out.
remaining.
Morana banned out from Navi US. I think a very smart choice here. Some obvious synergy around that tri-lane as we talked about. An Invoker,
Navi
the final
US's
ban from the
turn to
Sneaky
pick.
Nyx Assassins.
Yeah. Now it's worth noting that the Doom was banned out in the first phase here, and that was the last hero that was on SNA's lineup in that amazing game. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely look into that after this game, or if you're watching a VOD, maybe just switch over to that one because I'm expecting this one to be a pretty awesome match, but there's no way it could actually rival what we saw
10
last time. I
seconds
certainly hope it
remaining.
does, but all the same, that was probably one of the best games had the
5
privilege of
seconds
casting.
remaining.
So yeah, going into this one here, it's downhill. No, it's gonna be
Qualifier.
good. I'm pretty sure. We got the Queen of Pain
Dire
coming out,
team pick.
perhaps for Snake King. There was maybe a little bit alluding to that in Twitter's a bit ago. Brax says, "Who wants to be Snake King's queen?" And maybe that's a pairing thing, or maybe that is a Queen of Pain that he's gonna be running on the mid lane here.
Yeah, multiple ways to read into that tweet. Generally, that's your Korok hero. I know he's a big fan of Quap, but we did see Snake King in the mid earlier in that first game that LD was casting with you. He did play Tinker, but he has been
10
taking over that mid
seconds
role as
remaining.
Navi US have been fluctuating around a bit more, and with Degenerate in the
5
lineup,
seconds remaining.
well, you do have to be a little bit more flexible. So, time will tell. We saw Korok playing the Rubik
Reserve
yesterday,
time.
and that was where he had that Serpent Ward steal and telekinesis right into it.
Hmm.
So maybe he'll take
Navi
point on the Rubik
US's
once more. We'll
turn
have to be
to
patient
pick.
and figure it out. It is the Nature's Prophet picked up by the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, and that's your Ush hero.
Yeah, so it looks like it might even be a safe lane Nature's Prophet to be paired with the Wraith King of the Leshrac. That's actually something that Evil Geniuses did very recently. They actually had Arteezy playing it, and we were just casting that a little bit ago. So there's obviously some momentum favorable for there, but he actually mentioned after the game that he had a lot of trouble CSing in that environment. So maybe he wasn't as farm focused as he'd like to be as a carry player. We'll see if Ush has a better time of it. In either case, there's going to be a lot of time to brawl back and forth. This one's not going to close out within the first 20 minutes like we've seen so far. This one will be at least breaching into the mid game with the heroes we have on the board.
Yeah, it will be Korok who takes point on the Queen of Pain, puts Fogged on the
10
Rubik.
seconds
Brax will be headed to
remaining.
the off lane on Big Brad, and that gives us a mid lane
5
Razor who
seconds
will be,
remaining.
or pardon me, a safe lane Razor who will be played by the farming Snake King. So there we have it, loaded in, and yeah, should be an interesting final match for this group stage plays. Some fun picks on both sides. Lesh and Queen of Pain, two we don't get to see often enough, and usually pretty exciting at that.
Yeah, so Twitch has mentioned there is a decent color palette shift and synergy going for the side of Sneaking X Assassins. We've got the green and the blue really well advertised here on the sides of all these heroes. A little bit of ghosts, a little bit of fish, a little bit of everything. And yeah, this is going to be obviously helping their synchronization, and they blend in with the radiant environment and sneak into enemy territory, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, IX Mike, what are you doing, man? Look at these Tide cosmetics. He's got nothing.
Wow.
He's got Hammer Time and the Naval Mine. That is
Go remake. What the hell, man?
That is
actually,
bald
and
Tide.
I was actually looking at the VOD from the last game earlier today. He was wearing like a pirate hat and stuff like that. So he chose this path. He took off the cosmetics.
He said, "You know what, Navi US, you're not worthy to see my Tide Hunter in all of his glory. We're going." He looks kind of funny without a hat or anything on his head. He looks like the Rancor from Return of the Jedi.
Suppose that's decent comparison, beastly as he is, and yeah, it is a little bit different. We usually see him pretty well decked out there. So yeah, we're gonna see the unpause come through. Wraith King is connected on end. Whitebeard is raring to go, and yeah, now we have the supported movement. Now, like I said, there doesn't seem like there's much plausibility for level 1 Roche. It is technically possible with a hero like Lesh that can stun without having to worry about the Lincoln effect and the fact that they do have things like Treants and Vampiric Aura, but not so. That is just way too risky for this best of one here. They want to play it clean and safe, and they're going to be making their way to their lanes outright.
Yeah. No trickery from either side to get things started here, and lanes will look pretty straightforward. IX Mike will be in the off lane on the Tide Hunter. That puts TC mid on the Death Prophet, and a safe lane try Whitebeard on the Wraith King. Once more, Fluff will be on the Lesh, and that does leave us with Ush in the position 1 Nature's Prophet, I guess it'll be, as he'll be that safe lane farmer. An interesting change of pace, but we'll see how it works out. And some cool cosmetics on him as well. Tri-lane Nature's Prophet. You don't see that so
30
frequently.
seconds.
Yeah, I mean, like they had to run it with the EG draft because it was so push-oriented, but in this case here, it's definitely a little bit different in nature. This hero loves to farm fast, loves to farm across the map, and there is a lot of merit to really setting him off on the right foot. But I don't know, with a hero that has so many comeback mechanics, you'd assume that they might want to try to give it to a hero that really is completely dependent on something like an early Blink Dagger. But in this case here, they're going with the Nature's Prophet to at least start in the safe lane. Maybe he'll rotate into the jungle a little bit, but either way, he'll be able to go for a pretty hard right-click build that'll transition into some ganks. So, I mean, if he gets an early phase boots up or treads, plus a couple null tallies, then he is going to be able to maybe help out for like a 2v1 play on the bottom lane. So we'll see. For right now, it is going to be Fogged roaming around a little bit here, but it looks like he actually might want to help out one of the other lanes while it is going to be Shadow Shaman and Snake King down bottom.
Yeah, that puts Korok in the mid, so Snake King should have plenty of room to farm against the off-lane Tide. Degenerate here will do everything he can to try and zone out IX Mike. Hasn't skilled up anything yet, maybe forced into that Kraken Shell level 1, but we'll see this first rotation from Fog coming towards the mid. Good positioning from TC, staying on the south side of the tower. And that means Fogged won't have an easy opening to find him. And, well, not much kill potential there with Blink on the Clop anyhow, but potential to harass him back and put him in a rough situation with a telekinesis.
But they do have that Observer Ward up in place, so they see his rotation around, and they're going to make sure that that's not going to be an issue. And TC is actually a really solid when it just comes down to raw CS. Using the Crypt Swarm now just to make it a little easier for him, but in this matchup here, it's going to be difficult on Korok to really zone out the opponent well enough that he's going to be able to actually contest the lane in full. We do see Brax dodging out of stun from Bluff and stuff, just kind of baiting and juking with against the Split Earth, but in the end it's just going to be a little bit of return damage going back and forth. He doesn't have the Stout Shield, so he can't trade hits for very long.
Yeah, did opt for the boots first to give him some getaway power, but yeah, in terms of last hit or trading blows, things a little more difficult. Mid lane, TC and Korok kind of going blow for blow as well, and Death Prophet finding the better of it. She's got a small armor advantage, and Their right click is even for now, 4 branches on the Quap, and just a null tally on the DP. So pretty even mid matchup in terms of stats, and their initial farm's looking fairly even as well. 6 and 1 on DP, 5 and 2 on Korok's Death Prophet. 2-minute rune comes out, will be an invisibility about the top, and SNA will secure it. Whitebeard is there to pick it up, and he'll just start moving in towards the mid lane. Korok saw it, and he should have no problem making it back, and yeah, we'll move right into tower range.
So it's going to be a little passive. For right now, we're going to see the top of the CS is snaking at 15 and 3. He's going to have phase boots up really soon if he wants it, but we have seen some alternative choices when it comes to those kinds of builds, and could see something like the mech out before actually progressing towards tier 2. In either case, he has that at his disposal and can see how he wants to do that. But we are going to see smoke movement come out from the side of Navi US. The courier not going to get sniped out by Whitebeard, but he will try to flank the gank with this Invis rune. Does have a stun, but he's only level 1. They don't really have the damage to kill him before the blink comes through. So now it's going to be the counter gank coming out, and Ush walks right into it.
Oh, yeah, that's a rough spot to TP to, and now we'll take some tower shots. The Hex flies through, and well, that tower shot taking an odd path, but will secure the kill. 420 gold split across the side of Navi US, and that very aggressive teleport from Ush will cost him his life.
And whatever the merits of the safe lane Nature Prophet farming up, it's not going to be realized very quickly because of the fact that he does, unfortunately, spend his first rotation feeding his life away. So 2 null talismans out on him. He really is going to be going for that hard right-click build, but all the same, he has to kind of dedicate himself more to the lane to make up for the lost time and the lost life.
Yeah. Mid lane, some blows being exchanged. Korok knowing his limitations quite well. 29 hit points left over. He'll survive and does buy some boots, and will probably be forced back. He is crowing right now, and it looks like he'll just pick up his boots and bottle and stay around the lane a little bit longer, but needs to be very careful. Stray Crypt Swarm from TC could bring him down. Does have that 3rd point in Crypt Swarm at level 5, and we'll see how TC ends up building his DP, but something tells me he'll probably hold that Exorcism until level 8 or 9.
Yeah, kind of going for his own little standard build there. The rune spawn is actually going to be here for Fog. He's going to look to cover it up, but I think TC wants to at least force Fog to pick it up or deny it. He doesn't want this to go to the Queen of Pain, and in fact, Fog, yeah, no, it's just going to be denied outright. He goes for the stun, doing a little bit of damage to TC here, but they aren't going to be able to kill off of this alone. So, yeah, he's just going to be able to pick up his own boots, his own bottle, and although the rune is taken off the table for TC as well, the important thing is that Queen of Pain doesn't get it.
Yeah. So not quite what Fog was hoping for. TC will be okay with a denial there. Connects to the Crypt Swarm, and now Korok on his empty bottle is in some trouble, and we'll see that Queen of Pain start to fall behind in the mid lane. Ooh, that Crypt Swarm just falling short, but kind of a close call. Bottom lane, IX Mike initiated on as Degenerate comes in with a Hex. Fog does, or looks like he opened with a Telekinesis, and IX Mike will be able to make it back to the tower just fine. So Navi US holding on to a very small lead, just about 250 gold experience, just drifting the way of the dire side. But all things considered, a fairly even early game. Offlaners about on the same point. The only disparity is this growing difference in the mid game as TC just continues to rack up the last hits, now hitting level 6.
Yeah, that mid lane is really going his way. The harassment's there. Korok dropping down to 30 HP. He can barely feel confident in getting this CS, but yeah, he's eventually going to just have to make his way back home. Actually going to quarry up a stab while there's an aggression down on the bottom lane. Snaking getting a lot of link time against the Tidehunter, and they just have barely enough to bring him down in their disables. It's very difficult to kill off 2 Kraken Shell Tidehunter, but they make it look easy as they go in without any repercussions.
Yeah, the shackles helped, but there we see Snake King prioritizing the plasma field, really coming in handy. That was the nail in the coffin to bring down the Tide, and then just one more stray right-click from all that stolen damage, more than enough to secure the kill. Brax in okay shape in the Radiant off lane, soon to be level 4. Found a couple of last hits, but is about still on point with the Tide, who actually has hit, moved into that level 4 mark. Snake King gets the invisibility rune, spawning at the 6-minute mark in the bottom position, and we'll just head back to lane. He went for the power treads, not the phase boots this time around, and Ring of Regen, probably an indicator that he will be the mech carrier and will be his first big item pickup.
Yeah, the one thing that kind of stands out to me right now for SNA as far as not having as much momentum behind them as they wanted, other than the death of Ush early on, is the build-up from IX Mike. He actually went for 1 point in Gush here, and while you would think that a nuking slung, actually, Whitebeard getting caught out here, nice stun combo, and it is going to be enough to bring him down. So good rotation there. Fog and MJW making things happen across the map. But we do see on mid.
Korok
attempt.
almost caught. Yeah, blinks just in the nick of time as the Split Earth comes out. Fluff doing a similar build as we saw last time. Finds level 4, holding onto that skill point for now, but going for a 2-0-2. Prioritizing Split Earth as his primary, but getting those extra points in Lightning Storm. A very spammable ability, and one of the issues is the damage output is there, but will run you dry very soon. So Fluff has to be cautious about how he spends those valuable mana points, but finding decent experience, just looking at the experience tab. Yeah, again, pretty even. Both sides with two supports at level, or one support at level 4 and one support at level 3.
Yeah, but going back to the buildup of Ike's Mike right now with the 1 point in Gush, it means that they want to kill off this Razor pretty quickly, and they're going to actually make the full convergence to do just that. They're going to take some damage from the passive, but in general, the Lightning, the offensive aspect should be enough to make this worth their while. But MJW disrupts things as he goes in. They still get the stun out and the combo, but will it be enough?
Yeah, it's not looking like it. Whitebeard taking a few tower shots as he takes an awkward path around Snake King. Snake King with the static link on will click him down as he tries to TP out. Ty gets caught in the shackles and brought down by the Sonic Wave as Korok joins the party. And it will be a 2-for-0 trade as the Sneaky Nyx Assassins bite off more than they can chew. And Navi US retaliate with a set of kills.
Yeah, very nice rotation there. Getting the Shadow Shaman when they kind of felt that things weren't looking right. Spider senses were tingling, and they were able to respond in the early engagement. That's important because obviously they don't have the Stampede yet, so they have to really be not just reactive, but kind of a little bit predictive as far as when things are going to happen and where in order to prevent them. But yeah, like I was saying, now Mike is having a hard time getting experience on the lane, and as a result, he's not going to get enough points in Anchor Smash to efficiently farm up these Ancients. They've been blocked, so he hasn't been stacking them beyond the triple. But either way, if he had a quadruple, a quintuple stack, it wouldn't matter because you need at minimum 2 points in Anchor Smash just to not die to the Ancients, and then 3 or 4 to make it actually cost-effective to try to farm them up.
Yeah, that damage increase is pretty significant in those early levels, and here at 5, he'll grab the second point in Anchor Smash, which will help and open up that possibility for him. And now in the mid lane, we'll see TC. Oh, thought Korok may initiate there. And well, they get off the dagger, but the rest of Navi US won't commit for it. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Snake King will finish off the tier 1 tower. Plasma Field connects on IX Mike, and Snake King will just walk away, loses a few hit points, but that'll be his mech secured. And now he's #1 on net worth by a good margin, about 1,000 up on the safe lane farmer of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, who is still Ush on that Nature's Prophet. Now he'll just move into the jungle and take a stacked up camp here, farming very efficiently with that Plasma Field.
Yeah, so TC is going to go ahead and do a little bit of jungle play himself, and he's going to be able to build up some nice durability items. It is going to be the Drums of Endurance for him, so we have to see where the mechanism is going to come out for Sneaky Nyx Assassins. I mean, we would think that Ike's Mike would be the one to pick that up. Arcane's into mech is not an uncommon build, but action.
Pony Boy, he gets caught out. The smoke was there, and he'll walk right into it. Stampede used without a moment's notice, and they'll find an easy kill. Degenerate starts it off with a Hex, so no way that the Lesh can react, and that will make it 6-0 in the first 10 minutes of gameplay. Navi US with a pretty staggering lead, 3,000 gold, 2,000 experience, and already the Sneaky Nyx Assassins not quite up against the ropes, but are on the back foot and will have to regain some lost momentum. Third null tally comes out for the Nature's Prophet, who is also looking for the Blade Mail build. So Ush moving into this more European Nature's Prophet combative style that we've seen more and more of, and so far hasn't been too successful for him, but he's been pretty quiet since that first failed TP into the mid lane.
Yeah. One thing to note is that Navi US's initiation timings are really solid right now. Using up those 3 smokes right when the first one that you purchase respawns in the shop, they can just keep this momentum rolling. 10:30 is the time that you get that picked up, and they pretty much just use up the smokes every chance they can get, but not too much at once. So I really like this, the timing, the efficiency of usage, and that just means that it's making sure that SNA don't have a chance to get back in this game. They're going to try to go for a smoke play themselves. Korok extremely low here, and Fluff should be able to just lightning him down, but the bottle comes through. There's the Wrath of Nature, but they don't have the vision to finish him off, and he will be able to get out unless Ush has something to say about it. The last blink not coming out fast enough, and the tower is going down quickly. On the top lane, Snake King will not last hit. It's going to go to the Radiant, but on the mid, the Exorcism doing work.
Yeah, still ends up as a tower-for-tower exchange, and Korok will be a little disappointed with taking a tumble, but still, Navi US find a decent trade out of it, and a close call. The vision from the trees, just enough for Lesh to get in there with that one last piece of lightning. So Fluff and Stuff, he'll be the one to go for the mech, it looks like. Has a chainmail. I suppose it could be a multitude of other items, and I don't know that he will be able to farm the mech too quickly, but no one else is working towards it unless this Nature's Prophet will do some sort of an audible here and move into a mech, but seems like the Blade Mail is most sensible.
No, I think it still has to be the Tide. Like, right now, he's going for Medallion Courage on the Leshrac, so that's going to be good for easier Roshan, but it's just going to be slow going for Mike. Once he gets the Anger Smash levels to clear out the Ancients, great. Then he'll have a lot of income going his way in general. But right now, they've only got the one tower. He has not really seen that much as far as positive kills. In fact, 0-2-0. But actually, TP's right into the Mass Serpent Wards. My goodness, that's unlucky.
Yeah, they will finish off the Shadow Shaman, but IX Mike goes down in the mix as Brax shows off that Blink Dagger, hops forward. Still a Stampede at the ready. And Nyx Assassins need to be careful here. Whitebeard only level 4. Obviously, no reincarnation. Brax will get stunned up in the tree line, but where's the rest of Navi US? They can come in. They'll finish off Whitebeard. Off to the side, Fluff and Stuff will get picked as well. Now in the mid lane, Korok getting clicked down by Ush, who does pop his Blade Mail. Korok takes the Wrath of Nature, but will be able to survive. Now the Cavalry has arrived. Brax a little bit too low. Will try to man up on this Nature's Prophet, who still has a lot of right click. Gets caught inside of the Sprout and will die to the stolen Crypt Swarm from the Rubik. As Navi US take another good team fight here. TC, the last one to go down. Korok gets credit for that one. And it's a huge exchange going in favor of the Radiant.
I don't know what he was trying to do there. He literally walked to melee range of the Razor, had the Eye of the Storm active, and he didn't have enough mana for a Crypt Swarm. So dropping down there pretty much of his own volition, and they lose the tower as well. 11-3 in favor of Navi US. They are just running over this lineup, finding those openings. A couple created for them, as we mentioned, the TP from the Tide got right inside those wards. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's just the early blink of the Centaur. They get their initiation as they will, and even this Crypt Swarm steal from the well-leveling Rubik has been very beneficial for just clearing things out, getting some extra damage. As we were talking about the build-up for TC as 4, 1, and 4, that means that spell steal, the Crypt Swarm, is at its maximum value right now for Fog. So not only finding the level 6 early, but putting it to use with that perfect spell steal.
Yeah, certainly right. TC will now move into Drum of Endurance after his phase boot, so pretty standard stuff coming out of the DP, moving into a race car build. I reckon Yule's Scepter will be the next item of choice on that front. SNA will move a 4-hero rotation towards the bottom lane. Ush will hang around in the jungle and try and find some farm while his teammates push. Navi US seem to be eager to mount the defense.
Ush again.
Ush, he TP's right into Fog. Will get telekinesed. Exorcism's deployed. Mike's there with the Ravage. Will connect on 2. Brings down Degenerate first, but manages to get the wards down. Fog still has Crypt Swarm that helps do some return damage. Prophet, as well as the Wraith King will fall, but down goes the Queen of Pain in exchange. Tower does get finished off by the Dire as Fluff stays in range and secures the last hit. He will pay with his life as they converge on him, and Snake King has the damage to kill him off. So a 2-for-3 exchange. Tower goes down, and meanwhile in the top lane, Brax will TP out after clearing up the creep wave. Find a little bit of extra damage on the tower. So I guess all things considered, SNA do find a positive gold boost there, but Navi will get the better of the hero kills.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It wasn't that bad as far as the overall hero trade. But the problem is that was their fight with Exorcism and Ravage. That was supposed to be their big one, that they turn this back around. They get a lot of kills in their favor. Instead, Snake King ends it with full HP. Takes a little bit of damage against the Blade Mail, and Ush is going to try to right-click him down a little bit. But it's actually interesting. Sprout, if you click on the hero itself, counts as a single target spell, and he actually can't get close enough to Snake King because of that unstable current. So, yeah, dancing around there a little bit. Snake King farms up very close to his Agnum Scepter, and yeah, this is pretty much as farmed as you want to be as a Razor at this stage in the game.
Yeah, and that's the big problem with that last trade. Navi US aren't going to lose too much sleep over a Tier 1 tower going down. With the Death Prophet, you can sort of expect them to fall anyway. The big victor was Snake King. He survived. He's now 4-0-6 on this Razor. He's number 1 on net worth by almost a 50% margin above that of the Death Prophet, who is leading the farm on SNA, which is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, in the Dire jungle, Korok with a Haste Rune will join the Centaur, and they find a kill on Whitebeard, who is still struggling to find level 6. So right now that normally tanky Wraith King is a pretty easy kill. Now IX Mike trying to clear out his Ancients will get found out, and they'll bring him down. These Ancients all very low, and Navi US should be able to just take all these last hits after IX Mike's hard work.
This is so damn bad for Sneaking Assassins. They are backed against the wall already. I mean, they want a draft where they can go out and, at least with their ultimates, feel confident in a fight, but it's starting to look the other way. I mean, Razor's about to be extremely huge. He can go for BKB after Aghanims, and there's no going back from that. They take down tower after tower to get goal momentum, and as you mentioned, that Ancient stack is theirs for the taking. They leave a couple, but in general, this is just a huge boon for Navi US, and they're going to be able to take this momentum into the next fights. Brax on the top lane will be cornered in by Ush. Trees all around, but not really too much as far as kill potential without some miracle of, I don't know, misplay from the Centaur or very rapid reinforcements from TC.
Yeah, and once more, Navi US will find a good trade as they take out a tier 2 tower. Blink forward from Degenerate, and the Kraken Shell will expire the shackles right away, but now Whitebeard has his reincarnate, will fall for the first time, coming right back up. Ush TP's in, finds Snake King inside of the Sprout. There's your Ravage from Mike, secures a kill onto the Razor, but will cost him his life. Rubik trying to make the escape, caught inside of the DP Yules. Fogg will survive a little bit longer, at least telekinesis Whitebeard, sets it up for Korok to come in and hope for a kill. Will disjoint the Wraithfire Blast, but the Shadow Shaman's there. Another shock to bring him down. Now Ush and TC looking for the kill onto Korok. They will silence him. He has a TP scroll. Jukes the stun. And Korok will actually make the escape. Wrath of Nature flies through, but not enough damage to bring him down. Stampede utilized. Ush TP's forward, but Korok in the tree line. Now blinks once more.
He's got him!
Oh, wow.
Oh,
the vision of the tree.
Out of those shenanigans. I don't even know if I would have words for that. Like, he was like so close to getting stunned out and killed off so many times. He's just dancing around in circles, all about pulling off all these silly things that were unnecessarily risky when he could have just blinked TP'd. But he got the kill on the Wraith King with the help of the Shadow Shaman. Obviously, Degenerate was able to blink out of that, and then honestly, the Queen of Pain was just slightly away from getting out. If he had just TP'd immediately, I think he was home free, but he went for the Necro play to almost turn it around once again. So some really interesting stuff coming out of Korok here, but you know that he's feeling good about this game. He's got the Necro 2 up already. The Razor, like, his net worth is pretty good, but he knows how great Snake King has had in this game now, and with the Aghanims up, they can just push in for the win very, very shortly.
Yeah, up top, Brax and Ush will go blow for blow, and it's actually Ush that's going to be the victor here in this little exchange. He's picked up the Maelstrom, so his right clicks are pretty hard now and a bit faster. Meanwhile, in the mid, Snake King will get initiated on, gets the Eye of the Storm off, caught inside of the Yules, manages the Plasma Field before he gets silenced, but Ush is there with the Blade Mail to return some of the damage. Mech will keep Snake King alive. Fog not going to be so lucky, and they will just find a kill on the Rubik, which Navi US will consider a victory compared to losing their Razor in that scenario.
Roach now. I don't know if they can do this. This is extremely risky. We see if this full converges. Korok has his ultimate. Can just pop into the pit, but no. It's the Wraith King to go down. They know he has that no reincarnate, and they want to exploit that fact. Dropping the wards in. No Roche for you. This is ours, they say, and they are going to be able to pick up the Aegis on a hero as important as the Razor. You see also Queen of Pain picking up quite frequently, but I'm not sure if she really is relying on her mana pool without her ultimate so much.
Yeah, that's the level 2 Necro book now. Wards came down straight away, but Snake's Assassins will try to contest. A big Ravage from Mike to fly through. Snake King as well as Brax will be the first two to go down. Snake King stands his ground a little bit longer, but ultimately falls. They'll lose their Shadow Shaman, and this will be a successful hold from the sneaky Nyx Assassins. Korok on the high ground, trying to do what he can, will be forced to blink out. Finishes off the Tide while he does so. Fogged coming up, moves into the high ground. Telekinesis onto Ush. Will stop him dead in his tracks, and now Fogged will just suicide into Roche, or at least hope for it. And positive earn charge. Roche now will end up in the hands of the Dire. And SNA regain a lot of momentum with a big fight. And IX Mike with a well-placed Ravage.
Yeah, that was huge. They really needed that one. I'm glad they didn't stay in the pit just to be absolutely destroyed by Navi US by going for the counterplay there. Can the sounds come out onto Korok? It will not! The timing is so difficult there. That short blink animation compared to the Yules when the tornado drops down. But we do see a courier picked off at the very least with Ush's teleport plus Sprout. I believe the Necro recipe was on that one. Yes, so Korok will not be able to go all the way to 3. Not that he necessarily needs the detection, but obviously it's a lot of different things when you do get that upgrade. In either case, SNA are definitely back in it by comparison to where they were before. It's still going to be a difficult game based on the fact that Razor will be building up a BKB very soon, but if they can get that mech out on Mike's Tide, who already has the Blink Dagger, I really do see them having a good chance at this.
Yep, and now he'll just move right back into Ancient, stacks it up, farms it up with the Anchor Smash, and whoa, in the top lane, pardon me, Shadow Shaman. They'll get caught out by Ush, and yeah, the rest of them will just TP out, the rest of them being Korok. Ush looking for him in the tree line. but won't find the kill. So this Nature's Prophet, he's starting to get pretty beefy. And for the first time in this game, we'll see a swap in the net worth chart with the Death Prophet now topping it and overtaking the farm of Snake King.
Yeah, did he end any major kill streaks there? I didn't actually catch in the midst of the fray, but I'm assuming he's got something pretty good because he's sitting on 2180 reliable gold. That's got to be a kill streak in there somewhere because they just haven't taken enough towers to rack that up otherwise. But no matter the case, he is definitely juicing up, and he's looking for that Shiva's Guard as quick as can be.
Yep, smart item pickup here. We've talked about it a lot, but Death Prophet's weak point is that lack of armor early on, so this will really help her tank up and just be harder to bring down in general. Fluff and Stuff grabs his Gem of True Sight onto the Lesh. Meanwhile, Dire Jungle, they find Whitebeard as he's trying to farm. They'll take the camp for him, and he will survive. Meanwhile, the Tier 2 tower taking some damage. Ravage from Mike comes in, isolates Snake King. Ush pops forward as well. Snake King will be the first to go down as he's just caught unaware. Tower may fall from the wards. Nope, they'll clean him up fast enough. Tower is in deny range now, and they will be able to secure it. Will they deny it now? Yep, Mike will just chop it down. So Navi US losing their footing. They'll just trade a 1-for-0 and a tower deny.
Yeah, one more bad fight where Snake King gets picked off and the game's back in SNA's hands. Right now, Ush, goes up against Brax, but unfortunately Brax can't double edge without eating the damage twice over with that Blade Mail. But now finally goes for it just at the right time. Magic Wand to keep him up, earns up, and goes for another follow-up stomp.
Yep, Fogged is here, and we'll start things off. There's your Hoof Stomp, plenty of damage to bring down Ush. This time they'll punish him for his hyper-aggression, and it is Centaur that gets the big bounty, 835 gold. That'll secure his Pipe of Insight. Well, he actually had it before, and even more gold up on him. So, old Centaur here getting rather tanky, and DP actually not going for the Shivas, but that's a full Assault Kuros for TC, who's also level 16.
That's an interesting decision there. I was talking about how DP isn't really a right-click oriented hero, but this kind of forces her into that role. She's like, okay, well, I can benefit from the Vampire now because I attack that rapidly. But it is an interesting choice. It'll benefit some of the composite damage coming out from Fluff and Stuff's Diabolic Edict. It'll help out the Anchor Smash damage substantially. And since Nature's Prophet went for this right-click damage build as well, although it won't really do anything for the Maelstrom, the right-clicks that are behind that and enhanced attack speed-wise will be really nice. On top of that, it's a great defensive aura that will nullify some of Snake King's damage and make it so that this kind of Eye of the Storm strat isn't going to be the entire linchpin of what Navi US can accomplish.
Yeah, now top lane, Navi US go for the tower. Wards come down. Snake King's popped his Eye of the Storm. And this tower will get melted pretty quickly. The end of the outer towers for the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. They think about making a defense, but decide it's not worth the risk, and they will just regroup to either defend high ground or take an engagement somewhere that there aren't Rasta wards to be found. They will stumble their way onto a double damage rune in the bottom position. And Ush doing a little bit of split pushing as he shoves his M&M babies right into the tower. Snake King comes in to make the defense. The rest of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins starting to converge, though, and looks like they're hungry for some aggression of their own. Oh, Snake King caught inside of the Yules. That was sort of awkward placement as he hops out of the Sprout like that. I guess a lucky disjoint as he was going to come right back down on a creep. And that will ensure his survival.
Mid Wiper's going to go down. He doesn't have a Reincarnate or anything like that, so the mana burn doesn't really impact him other than the fact that he just can't do anything in return. Korak is able to get that clean kill, but of course TC with that Exorcism, double damage active, just demolishing these towers. Now looking for a little bit more, but yeah, AC obviously very impactful against towers. In general, just making its Exorcism pack a huge punch, but still we see Navi US in the other lanes, making something happen across the map. Some harassment onto IX Mike, and just in general pushing up the waves all the way to the base.
Yeah, Korak doing a good job keeping pressure on SNA and glancing at the graphs. It's a pretty even game now. Navi US holding on to their very small lead, but it's quickly diminishing. And this is another one of these games where I feel like the graph is a little bit misleading, where sure they have a small edge, but SNA are the ones with all the momentum right now. And anytime Mike has a Ravage at the ready, that's when things are pretty scary, and there's potential for SNA just to take an immense team fight. See Nature's Prophet cancel casting the TP. Maybe thinking about Brax, but we'll just go back down to farming Dire Ancients, which are stacked up again. This is another one of the disparities. SNA have been doing a great job keeping their Ancients stacked and clearing it out at pretty much any opportunity they have.
Yeah. I think it really is going to come down to the BKB timings of Navi US's key heroes, because Queen of Pain isn't going to be that incredible come the 50-minute mark, and she does want to be high value now, but up against a Blade Mail, up against a Ravage, even the silence can cause her some real grief. So she really does want to pick up that BKB at a very quick rate. Could technically be Aghanims, but I'm almost positive Korok wants the BKB here. And then, of course, that also goes even more for Snake King here. I mean, he getting that BKB will be able to go on the front lines, be able to tank up the Ravage, and just go in and do what he needs to, because the main objective is kill TC and get a BKB off. If they can do that for both Razor and Queen of Pain, the fight's pretty much theirs by default.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And you normally think of BKB, well, there's a Death Prophet, so I'm not really sure. No, you want the BKB. It's really good against Ravage and sort of a staple piece. The Razor, like you mentioned, but also the Quap. She's a very squishy hero, and being able to mitigate that huge disable will make one hell of a big difference. SNA may be waiting around for the next Roche. We'll see what the respawn timer is here coming up in just about a minute's time, and I think they'll be happy just to sit back and be patient, farm up some of these core items. They are giving Navi US time to get their BKBs, but Ush, he'll find his way right into a Scythe of Ice, and that is a big item that can even be used to counter the BKB if you get the initiation off first. So SNA are not without their tools to deal with these new item pickups.
Yeah, but still, at least the Stampede and Force Staffs are a great way to deal with the Hex. They have 3 Force Staffs on the side of Navi US and, of course, just 1 Stampede. But they are going to be able to pretty much bail out whoever gets hexed and try to make it so that they don't take any damage for that duration.
Yep. Ooh, smoke from Navi US. We'll see Degenerate, Fogged, and Snake King all rotate towards the top lane. And even Brax going to be joining the party, as now the fresh BKB is up on Snake King's Razor. Pipe, and oh yeah, there's your Force Staff with the Blink Dagger on Big Brad. So he's a little bit more mobile himself. Korok is very close to his BKB, just about 200 gold away from that recipe and Mithril Hammer. It will be a fast Roche respawn coming up in just a minute's time, and I reckon we'll probably see a fight break out around the pit sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Korok's a difficult decision because he really wants the BKB for that fight, but he doesn't want to expend his mana to get it. So he's just going to go ahead and last hit as quick as he can. Actually going to go for 1 Scream on this wave, and that will get him his BKB. So getting that out as quickly as can be, because, yeah, you need both the mana pool and that magic immunity for the big rumble in the pit. We see that respawning pretty soon. They know that it could be up, but there is still a 2-minute window where they're not entirely sure.
Yeah, the rumble in the jungle. Now Death Prophet will just move right into a Heart of Tarrasque. An interesting build from TC with that AC, but now I think he just needs raw HP. That is one of the drawbacks of this build. Drum's your only thing giving you stats, and now with the Reaver almost at that 2k HP pool mark, and the Heart of Tarrasque will really buff him up to that extra level of supreme tankiness. Looks like Whitebeard, hard to say if he's going for the BKB or if this will end up being a Sange into Halberd. A disarm, not a bad choice, but with the BKBs does kind of mitigate it. Very well just could be magic immunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think BKBs are the go-to item for both sides, really. There's a lot of effects they have to nullify, but there's going to be the big movement into the pit here. If we look at Navi US's positioning, they've got 2 that are a little far gone to actually try to address this. So I think this is going to be falling then. I don't know if they must have considered the fact that it could have gotten a relatively early spawn, but they really didn't seem to be willing to contest it. I guess that's just the threat of the Exorcism plus Ravage at this stage in the game, but by giving them that Aegis and enough farm for TC to finish up the Heart of Tarrasque, it's going to be very difficult to take the next fight, whether it's on their terms or not.
Yeah. Ush with that Aegis of the Immortal again in the position 1 role. He'll do exactly the same as he did before. And now TC does have the gold to buy the Heart of Tarrasque. Sneaky Nyx Assassins may be looking to make that Death Ball push coming up soon. There is a set of outer towers still remaining, the tier 2 in the mid and the top lane, but they could just go bottom and look for high ground. I think they'll be well advised to try to go for a pick-off before they try to break the base. But we'll see how they want to handle it. Us just farming up in the mid lane as Navi US actually move into the dire jungle.
So, to calm before the storm right now, they're going to be pushing out the waves so that they only have to take 1 fight and they can maybe get a little bit of subsequent base damage based on that alone. But yeah, we see that the smoke movements is about, and they have to know that they're missing off the map. They have to be worried about this flank, but the only one scouting it right now is Fog. So they have to be very quick on the reflexes of the defensive Force Staff, and they have to really delta split hard with this Stampede.
Yeah, here we go. Mike goes in. Ravage on 3 to get it started. Fog dies right away as TC uses the ultimate, and the Ghosts converge on him. IX Mike now taking some decent return damage, but will use the mech, so even if he falls, he's gotten off his rotation. They'll pick off the Centaur. Fluff goes down to the Wrath of Snake King. He'll try to stand his ground, but the Exorcism just too much. Now Quap inside the Yules. This time the silence from TC is there, and it's a 4-0. The only survivor is MJW on that Shadow Shaman. And the sneaky Nyx Assassins live up to their name with a great smoke rotation and catch Navi US completely unaware.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ravage and then the, I believe, Hex connected on Queen of Pain. She didn't even get the chance to use the BKB and just got tore apart by the Exorcism. She only has 6 armor after all. So a great focus there, but most importantly, killing off the Rubik as quick as possible. It's kind of the most convenient hero anyways, and he is extremely squishy. But if they hadn't done that, there would have been a spell steal on the Ravage. There was a great timed stun coming out on Mike right after the Ravage, and he didn't cover it up. So it was a great hero to kill off in the Rubik, and they take that fight by storm. But now, some damage on the tier 3. It's just going to be that. It's not going to be the full death of the tower until next time around.
Yeah, no buybacks forced out, but SNA did also grab that tier 2 tower in the mid. Ush was right there to TP to it and bring it down straight away. That will secure his Black King bar now on the Nature's Prophet. Mike will start working towards a refresher with a Perseverance already in tow. And DP, well, she's got 2,500 gold. She's already not capped out, but getting there. And we'll see what he wants to move into next. BOTs might not be a bad option just to open up that next item slot for the Death Prophet. They still have the Aegis standing, which is the other great thing about that fight. Now Whitebeard grabs his BKB, and SNA are just in such a better position. Looking at the graph, they'll take over the lead. Gold and experience, albeit small, they have a lot more momentum now.
Yeah, they have better control of the map too. If you look at the warding right now, we do see the Sneaky Assassins have not only the ones that they had prior, which was just that top rune and bottom rune, but now they are controlling over a little bit into the enemy jungle, into their own, and they have plenty of free camps that they have full vision on. So they're able to play reactively with the Ravage coming down in just 20 seconds. And this is going to be a timing window where they actually might be able to farm up towards a refresher. It depends if they want to really put the chokehold on and try to finish this off here sooner rather than later. But now is not a bad time, considering still the Aegis and the fact that they're about to have 2 BKBs. Wraith King picking his up soon.
Yeah. And now Ush moving forward. Fogged will be there, looking for a spell steal. Does have Crypt Swarm in the belly right now. Not a bad spell, as we've seen, but at this stage, not particularly game-breaking. Ravage is really what he's looking for. IX Mike does have it cooled down. All of the big ultimates at the ready. SNA want to try and rinse and repeat and just replicate what they did moments before. 2 supports defending the high ground. This could be an opening for Mike. He'd love to have a Ravage on more, but even if they can just bring down the 2 supports right away, no buyback available on either. So that could be a big deal. Now the Exorcism comes out, as will the Radiant Glyph. Snake King takes the Wraith Fire Blast as soon as he TP's in. Tier 3 goes down with no glow. The Glyph was used, pardon me. So now the Rax will be fair game. They'll have TC in the front lines. He is the tankiest of the bunch. And now Ush moving in, gets the Blade Mail off, almost takes a Hoof Stomp, but nice cancel cast there from Brax. And SNA will play this one very passive. They'll try to make the retreat, but there's your Stampede. Ush, BKB on, will try to TP home, and he'll just barely make it. Knowing his limitations, I suppose, and he lives. Now they'll look towards Korok in the top lane, and they'll start to converge. Korok needs to be a little bit careful here. Whitebeard takes some damage from the Necronomicon unit, and now he comes in. Korok drops the ultimate, will bring down Whitebeard, has the reincarnations, obviously coming right back to life. But well, I guess that's worth it. Now they can kill the Wraith King off next time, easy peasy.
Yeah, it is a tough call, though, because, I mean, it's a 70-second cooldown on your BKB, and you don't want to fight without that, so half that is the Reincarnation CD. But they're going to go right up to the high ground here. They've already forced them on the defensive, and they want to go while Ush has 6 seconds left on the TP.
Yeah, and now they'll move in. Glyph popped straight away as the Rasta wards come down. Pipe used by Navi US. Snake King in the front lines once more, takes the silence, but still gets off the static link, steals a little bit of damage from Whitebeard. Taking the return damage now as he uses his mech and his BKB very defensively. I'm not so sure about that BKB usage there.
Well, I think he was going to eat the Split Earth if he didn't, or he definitely thought that was a possibility. But now Ush jumping in, getting the Hex out, the Stampede will cancel it, or counteract it rather, and Korok will be able to just barely get out of Yule's range in time. But now if they just got slightly closer on TC, then that would have been disastrous. 1 drum charge, I think that would have been a pickoff, and that could have been another opening on the mid lane. But no, just barely getting outside the range of the Yule, and then they go ahead and just go back to their defensive posturing. Now, this is the timing window for 50 seconds where there is a BKB up on Queen of Pain, and there is no Reincarnate on the Wraith King. So they have to make sure this Ravage counts, and maybe even get the jump on Quap before she BKBs.
There is also no Sonic Wave, another thing to consider here, where that is a big ultimate and a big source of the radiant damage output. Korok has now moved into a Maelstrom, though, so even the Queen of Pain right-click starting to add up that much more as Sneaky Nyx Assassin pressing in. It is Brax that pops out, connects with the hoof stomp. There's Mike with the Ravage, connects on quite a few. And the follow-up damage will be there as TC pops the ultimate. Hex out on Brax. Looks like he'll be the first one to go down. Korok off to the side, pops his BKB, blinks back into the base, and will live. Brax will buy back straight away. Now the barracks under heavy assault. Brax with a stun on 3. Doing a lot of damage, but TC in the back with this exorcism still flying through. They really want to finish off the melee racks before they retreat. The Yules comes out. TC getting low. He'll get cleaned up. Now Ush gets picked off as well. Tidehunter to fall. And it will be a successful hold from Navi US. Only one remaining on the side of the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. It is Fluff and Stuff, utilizing that Blink Dagger quite well, but now they'll have to probably burn some buybacks here to hold this. The big problem, the big ultimates on cooldown.
Yeah, the buyback was used on the Centaur, but that's minimal recompense for the fact that they hold the racks, drop down to 200 HP. So they put a lot of physical damage into that with the spirits, and they just didn't focus on what they needed to.
Ush.
Are under attack.
He'll finish off the barracks like this. No backdoor protection.
Yeah, bottom lane's pushed out for enough. He was able to just get a quick little snipe and use the scroll to get back, but will they be able to hold the racks at the same time? The range one is going down, but the melee one is what they need to hold. TC delaying.
Yep, Snake King in the front lines, very low on health, and Whitebeard comes in, has a Reincarnate this time. Wraithfire Blast onto Snake King.
Nice
but
force.
Those wards doing a lot of damage, and the Telekinesis from Fog keeping Snake King alive. That will have the Reincarnate come out as Whitebeard falls, comes right back up, stun onto Fog. He hits him with a taste of his own medicine, and Fog will pay with his life. Navi US getting a decent counter push, but ultimately won't find the same trade. They lose their melee racks and only find range racks.
Yeah, we'll see if Fluff can pursue any further. They really want Snake King here. He was so close to going down, was about to be hit by the Split Earth, and then he got helped out by Helping Hand. There's 3 Force Staffs, so I'm not sure which was which, but no matter what, there was a Force Staff used to keep Snake King alive, and that gets him his AC. He would have hated to have to buy back there. But now he finishes the big item. This AC counteracts TCs and gives them a much better chance at holding their high ground. But we'll see the Roche go down. This one's with Cheese, and we'll see who's going to pick up what.
Yeah, these back and forth pings have been a pretty even exchange, as Nyx Assassins did have to use 2 buybacks on the DP as well as the Nature's Prophet, but the buybacks also allowing them to secure Roche as soon as the fight ends, which gives them cheese. So an extra buyback, but securing cheese, I think that's pretty worth it. And you can see that reflected on the graph as these pushes have connected. It's just this big up and down swirl of momentum shifting back and forth. Fogged will find himself a Blink Dagger now. Korok moves straight into the Mjolnir, so he's got some more right-click prowess, and looks like Shadow Shaman wants an Aghanim Scepter, and not too far away, only 1,500 gold off, and that is going to be good news for Mr. Shadow Shaman. The big item for SNA, I think, is this Refresher on Mike, and unfortunately, he's still not that close. Oblivion Staff and Recipe with 2,000 gold still has a bit of farming to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's their main point of progression here, because if they're going to keep loading up their inventory with the cheese and the Aegis, there's not much room for growth for the Prophets. Both Death Prophet and Nature's Prophet, despite losing some gold from buying back, are still pretty well saturated. There's a Mjolnir possibly for Nature's Prophet, of course, BOTs on both, but I don't know. Other than that, you're looking at refreshing BKB and switching out a Blade Mail for maybe a crit or something of that sort. We'll see. But at this point, yeah, they are moving more rapidly towards critical mass than that of Navi US, who can still move into a lot of great items on their supportive staff. I mean, the Hearted Trask would be huge for the Centaur. Could get a Vlad's just for the team-wide safety aura as far as armor goes. And even Rubik could go for things like Aghanim Scepter to really just play around with the enemy's abilities.
Yeah, is this really a great Ags game? I mean, it's not just about the Ags upgrades. It does give you that huge range for spell steal to make your life a lot easier. But you know, the big ultimates, your Ravage and your Exorcism, no Ags upgrade. Do you think it's still a worthy pickup here?
I don't think it really comes down to the upgrade factor. I think it's just about the cooldown and keeping spells flowing in the fight.
Okay.
There's so many great ones going back and forth. That's why there's so many BKBs on the field right now. And I think Fog would have a lot of potential just casting 3, maybe 4 spells of the enemy in the upcoming fights.
The other question is, will he actually have an opportunity to farm it up? With 350 gold, no progress towards the item, it'll be a long ways coming.
Yeah, it's already kind of a dead set. We're committed to this state of affairs. There's going to be a lot of buybacks back and forth, and generally speaking, this is where the supports in particular don't make much progress. They probably still need a Geometry site as well, because the only one on the field is in the hands of Fluff and stuff. We're talking about this from the previous experience on Fluff's Leshrac. He holds onto that gem for dear life, and yeah, he manages his positioning well while he has it on his own person.
He does a really good job just deciding when to put it on the hero and when to put it on the courier, and he's just good at reading the momentum of the game.
Bottom.
When fights aren't breaking out, he pops it on the himself, and yeah, we'll see IX Mike gets picked off down bottom. Korok and Brax will have more than enough damage to bring him down.
Ush went in. He's going for the Hex right on the Queen of Pain. Can they get the follow-up stun? No, the Force Staff away from the Centaur. Saving the day right here. They get the Blink. They can't follow up the stuns. And Brax will save Korok's life here. He does have a TP, gets the Blink, and yeah, he is home free. Close one now.
Yep, TC looking for that silence and just couldn't get close enough. So ends up being a free pick on IX Mike. The ideal target to take down, as we've talked about. He's the one trying to farm up the refresher, and that will slow him up that much more. Now with the tide down, he does have buyback money. Navi US will use this opportunity to try and pressure the base. Glyph is available. Ush, TP's in. Blade Mail popped right away as Snake King steals a lot of his right-click damage. And
the Hex is creep.
Yep, pushing forward now. Does have the ultimate online and a BKB. Mike won't need to buy back. BKB's popped a plenty on both sides of the coin. Snake King taking a lot of damage from TC and will turn and do as much as he can, realizing he's not going to survive anyhow, and just does what he can before he goes down. It sets it up for Brax. Now TC falls. And Korok coming in with his BKB will bring down Ush. That'll proc the Aegis of the Immortal. Whitebeard coming in. That'll be the end of his ultimate. Mike, he's pressing through, and oh boy, this is just a disaster for the Dire side. Rubik doing so much extra damage here with that Exorcism still online. Fogged still able to survive. It's a full team wipe. Fogged doing a hell of a lot of damage in that skirmish. And I think, is that GG? Do we have some buybacks? IX Mike has one. But will it be enough? He does have the Ravage still.
Oh no, he's gonna go down. He has the Ravage. He might have to pop it just to get away. Oh no, this is disastrous. IX Mike just popped back, and he's now down for 75
That's
seconds.
Game, I think.
They lose the top racks. The mid racks going down. They don't want to lose it here, but they don't really have much else going for them. At least TC still has cheese. BKB in 10 seconds. But man, when he lost that Exorcism, and the Spirits were just kind of dueling it out, both sides kind of didn't want to get too close to the other, but both needed to focus the Exorcism holders, and Fogged was able to be the one that stayed out of the fight for the longest of time, and he was the one who actually got the much greater damage output than TC. And when TC got burst down without even getting the chance to use the cheese, then they just lost so heavily. They're still in it, and they still want to play this one out, but I don't need to say that 2 lanes of racks is a heavy, heavy loss.
Yeah, now remember they do have the melee racks down in the mid, so that is something that is like maybe keeping Sneaky Assassin still in this game, but it was also a good heads-up play from Snake King as he was on the run and just decided, you know, I need to turn around and do as much damage to DP as I can, and that's what set up for the Centaur to pop in and hoof stomp double edge, and that stunned up TC so that he couldn't eat the cheese before falling, and that was the big make it or break it. And I think if the Razor didn't turn to throw all those whips, it would have been a different story. Don't forget that Snake King had stolen a lot of damage from Whitebeard before that whole skirmish kind of broke out, so those right clicks actually did add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, still, I mean, with that much damage behind them when they have the Exorcism up, it's absolutely incredible. We'll see if he can get the steal again or if TC's.
Oh, God.
Sorry?
That's a 10,000 gold swing right there. Look at the graph.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is... I mean, with the buyback on top of it, there's no doubt. They were able to get so much off of that. The destruction of the buildings pads their pockets as well. And, yeah, this is so hard to come back from. Korok has the Eye of Scotty. He's got a full Mjolnir. The Refresher Orb probably soon for Razor. Actually, he did go down in that fight, so maybe he'll be set back a little bit. But IX Mike set back even further.
Yeah,
if we're talking about the rush out for the little watermelon, IX Mike is the one that lost out by far. Having to buy back, dying twice. he's not going to have Refresher for the longest of time.
Yeah, that was just pretty much the worst thing that could have happened to the Tide. He didn't even get to Ravage. He bought back and still died. Even if it was a defensive Ravage and made it back to the well, that would have been something. Buy him a little bit of time, you know, stops him from hitting structures. He just ran in, basically got crowd control, died, and still has the Ravage, but would have cooled down by now anyhow. So Navi US just one lane of racks away from a victory here, and they'll start to tighten the noose a bit. I don't think they'll want to wait till the next Roche, although we'll see what that timer is coming up in just about a minute's time. Some split push coming about the map as Fogged is in the top lane with Korok. Centaur in the mid, and the remaining two just pressuring down the bottom. They're trying to push all lanes in at once before they take this team fight so that maybe they can even distract Sneaky Nyx Assassins with a 5-on-5 engagement and then just let the creeps do the dirty work in the base.
I love the movement from Navi US here. They have the full buddy system. Essentially, they're always farming with one person in the front lines with a support that has a 4-staff right behind him. So they can guarantee that if he does get hexed by Ush, whether he suddenly buys a Blink Dagger for selling the Blade Mail or whatever, either way, they're going to be able to bail him out. And they just want to make sure that they're always in position to do just that. Now Snake King sees IX Mike. They actually have a little topsy-turvy going. This might be bad. Like, he's going forward, but he's got no reinforcements. It's a 1v4 right now.
Snake King pops his BKB. There's the mech from Mike, and yeah, he realizes, I don't know if I really want to do this all by myself. That is his 6-second BKB charge, so will cost Snake King a little bit, but end of the day, not a huge deal. And he does have that first step towards the Refresher complete. The Oblivion Staff, there's the recipe, and 1,300 gold towards a Perseverance. Good news for the Razor. Mike's Refresher still very far away.
Yeah, that is absolutely brutal. I actually think Razor might buy out, but actually it's going to be the initiation on Ush. He gets the Blade Mail off, but they have PKBs. They shrug it off, and they just burn him down. Does have buyback, but one life is not going to be enough here.
Yep. Korok will be happy to use his BKB and ultimate for that, as TC down bottom uses his ultimate to try to secure a kill onto Degenerate. He'll try and juke in trees as best he can. Won't be enough to keep him alive, but now TC completely stuck. Does Snake King have the damage to bring him down? While this skirmish is breaking out, a fight will start in the base. Snake King will not live to tell the tale. Meanwhile, Brax going blow for blow with Fluff and will secure that kill. Mech from IX Mike just not enough to keep his buddy alive. Fogged pressing forward. Ooh, needs to be careful. He might get caught out. Meanwhile, in the base, Centaur will fall, and this is an odd exchange from Navi US. They did grab one of the tier 4 towers while this was happening, but they pay heavily for it as they lose a 3-for-1.
They still have plenty of buybacks to follow back on. There's plenty of room for error, but one thing that they are going to give up as a result is the Roche pet. We see the pings out from Snake King. He knows what's going on, but I don't think there's a way to stop it. Even with like Stampede play with a buyback from the Centaur, there's no way to make this a clean snipe, and more often than not, you're just going to be brought down. Fortunately, there are currently no BKB piercing disables on the side of SNA, just a lot of physical damage coming out. So there is still possibility for doing whatever the heck they want, but right now, with the buyback on the Nature Prophet and the death of Roshan, they have a small chance. They're down, dwindling towards the single digits pretty soon, but at least for the moment, they're still in the game.
Yeah, just lucky timing on this Roche. It was a pretty quick respawn about a minute after that initial timer, so if it had been maybe a 2-minute Roche, this would have been a totally different story. Centaur will ultimately buy back, though, which seems like an odd choice. They still can't contest the Roshan. Aegis and Cheese comes out, and it will be the same thing once more. Cheese this time on the Tide, but the Aegis is on Nature's Prophet. What are you about here, Blaze?
There was actually a lift up on Ush on the front line. There was a double damage Queen of Pain, but it was just the two of them, so they weren't able to chew through that raw HP fast enough with so much potential follow-up from heroes like, okay, they're going in, get the stun onto Ush, but now they have to stampede the rest in. They're so far behind, Brax alone.
Yep, Brax taking a lot of damage. We're dishing it out as well. Korok coming in with his BKB on, doing a lot of damage to us, brings down the Aegis. Now can they take down TC? Snake King's here with the double ultimate, pops it and refreshes. They'll kill the Wraith King. He's coming right back. TC gets off the cheese, and now he'll put himself in the defensive Yules. Mike coming in with the Ravage, does a little bit, but falls straight away. Now TC gets focused down, and he just can't survive. Whitebeard, without too many hit points left, will get isolated. Some low health heroes on the Radiant side will both go down, as Ush on the backside doing that last bit of damage to make it a much more even exchange. Now the Sneaky Nyx Assassins using their buybacks, and it will be just a dead Tidehunter for now, and not for long. Mike will buy back. Ush takes the damage from Korok, but the Blade Mail! Now Snake King stuck inside of the trees. He'll fall. It's a full team wipe! Oh, no! Navi US in trouble. They've got 2 buybacks available here, the Rubik and the Queen of Pain, but that's it. Frax is wishing he did not burn it just moments ago.
Yeah, and they didn't need to even take that little fight up against Asia Prophet. Sure, it's a Prophet by himself, but they don't have the hard disables, and they could have just fallen back, waited for the Refresh Orb, waited for the Double Eye of the Storm, because that's where they're strong. But now Snake King is dead in the grave for 70 seconds, and it's a 2-man defense. Yes, the creeps will be pushing in a top lane, but here SNA are in the base.
Yep, a little bit of backdoor protection helping out Navi US, but Korok, he gets hexed. BKB's on. He'll try and do as much damage as he can, but he's relegated back to the well with his BKB on cooldown. Degenerate doesn't even have Frost Awards here. It's going to be a dieback for him if he's not careful. BKB's used, but it's not enough. Actually, he didn't buy back. He just respawned, but now the Razor will buy back, and Navi US lose their mid lane of Rax. They're still in a lot of trouble. Reincarnation is utilized as Whitebeard falls once more. Snake King in the front lines. Doesn't have a refresher, so just the single ultimate for now. Fog doing anything he can to buy some time, connects with a Wraithfire Blast to slow them down. It's still a 5v3 on the field, and TC should have an ultimate coming up soon. Yeah, just a couple of seconds. Will be a dieback for IX Mike, and the Sneaky Nyx Assassins starting to move to the back foot. They may look to reinitiate his Snake King. Low on health, his ultimate soon to expire. There's the Exorcism. He'll get stuck inside of the Sprout. Snake King to fall. And now Navi US on their last leg. Brax respawns, pops the Blade Mail, will be able to bring down the Wraith King for the second time. TC doing as much damage to the tier 4s as he can, but he's pretty low on hit points himself. Ush, BKB on in the front lines, commencing the right clicks, doing damage to Korok. Being elusive as he can, the Queen of Pain will survive. Now Brax pressing forward, hoof stomp on 2, double edge, bringing down Ush almost. The DP falls. Ush with 1 hit point to spare. He's trying to juke in the trees, but Fog is there, willing forward to bring him down. Sneaky Nyx Assassins are repelled, and Navi US will hold once more. Now it's a problem the other way. The only buyback available is on Fluff and Stuff, and he's the only one alive. Meanwhile, in the base.
Incredible fight there.
Oh, God.
Sneaky Assassins trying to just replicate what we saw yesterday, and it almost worked. It really almost did, but in the end, they just don't have enough reinforcements. We actually saw the BOTs picked up on Asia Prophet, teleported back to the well at like 15% HP, then bought the BOTs to come right back to the front line. So very quick back and forth play. Great fights coming out from both sides, but in the end, Navi US, they just had more. The Refresher Orb on the Razor instead of the Tide was the straw that broke the camel's back, and it's something that SNA could not come back from.
Yeah. What a fun game to wrap up the group stage of Starladder America. The playoffs are coming up next, and we know our top 4 teams. It's Navi US, Sneaky Nyx Assassins, Evil Geniuses, and I believe it is Not Today. Smash Sama's team. We'll take a glance at the grid very quickly, so we have a visual update, but there you go. The top 4, this is not updated for the matches today, but the top 4 teams are the same in matter of seeding. EG will be number 1. The bottom spot will be Not Today. Is that correct?
No, Not Today is either 2nd or 3rd. I forget. I think they took down
I can't keep
SNA,
it all straight now since they all played each other today.
In either case, we do know that Sneaky Nyx Assassin will be 4th, EG will be 1st, and Navi US and Not Today will be facing off as 2nd and 3rd.
Yep. So an interesting group stage it's been, and it's been a pleasure to cover it. Playoffs will be coming up next, and that wraps it up for us today, Blaze. Make sure you follow us both on Twitter if you enjoyed the cast, at Zayori TV, at BlazeCasting, and at Beyond the Summit to stay up to date with all things happening in the studio. Starladder EU resumes tomorrow, and China and SEA have been ongoing. So still plenty more Dota 2 coverage coming up over the next week here on Beyond the Summit and Dota Starladder EN. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for the European coverage.